Just know that I'm not here to give you any beliefs whatsoever. See, I don't want you to believe me, but it's important that I bring you into awareness about this veil of ignorance. So I know a lot of people talk about this veil that's over us. See, it's just a veil of ignorance, a veil of unawareness due to our programming and our indoctrination since birth, and even our parents are indoctrinated. You see, they told you what you need to believe in. They told you that there's a Jesus and that you need to worship him or you're gonna go to hell. You see, so they instilled that belief in your subconscious mind, which is your programmed mind. And you need to know that your brain is a computer and that we are energy and that you have been manipulated and deceived because who you think you are worshiping is actually quite the opposite. Because you need to know about this reality that you're living in. And I want to explain that to you so you can remove that veil of ignorance that covers you, so because of your beliefs and the things that you were told to believe in. So you were given your beliefs, they told you who to believe in. They told you that you're a Christian or you need to do that. They gave you your name and your birth certificate and all that. So all that starts to create an identity for you. And uh, and you don't know any better. So don't hurt yourself or feel bad because you didn't know or anything. Don't hold it against yourself. You see, we can all pull this veil of ignorance from us, so we can then see the truth. Because the truth, you can't hide the truth, because they always told you that the truth is right before your eyes. It's everywhere. The only thing you can do to the truth, because that's the only thing that exists, the only thing that you can do to it is to manipulate it in such a way, because inside we will be able, if they gave us all the way false, then we will be able to feel it because of our senses. But since it's the truth with some manipulation, we believe it to be true because it feels good on the inside, because we all know that there is a God, but that God is not what you think it is. They tell you it's just one person and that you need to go to church. And why would you go to a church that was man-made when God, the creator, has built a church for you already, which is here, your body, your temple? And develop ignorance doesn't allow you to know who you are. It allows you, what you do is you're so blinded by your own belief, because they told you what to believe in. They told you how to live in this society, what civilization is, what it is to be civil. To, you need to get a job, you need to do this, and you need to make money. And that right there is, they are creating, who you call the elites are creating a reality for them. That's how powerful you are. And that's why it's important to know about your attention, and what you give your attention to starts to create the reality. So they told you that there's Mexicans crossing the border and they're raiding, our country, and that the blacks are, or the whites are against the blacks, and they're suppressing. So you see, they told you that and you believe it. You ate that shit up and you believe it. And now it's creating that reality out here, because we are creators. And the way we see things and the way we perceive things, then we start to create that. And we start to create all that ignorance. And we don't realize that what you're looking for is actually inside of you. God, who you are looking for, dwells within you and is you. It is me, and I live inside of it, and it lives inside of me. We are one. There is no separation. You see, that is the illusion that they are giving you. Is the separation of God, that it's over there and some being in the sky, which is no such thing as a being in the sky. So they make you go to church, a church that was built by man. And not only that, they have a preacher teaching you the Bible, reading to you what he wants you to read, and giving you his perception. And you accept that belief. You accept it without even questioning it. And that's the issue. Like, why aren't you questioning these things? Because it makes you ignorant. Just for instance, I went to an older guy's house, and we were talking about, I was telling him about these cancers and illnesses and diseases that are happening because of acidic bodies, and uh, and that it's your fault. You're the only one to blame if you get cancer, if you get tumors and illnesses and all these sicknesses that everybody got. It's your fault because of the unawareness, the ignorance that you have, that you're feeding yourself wrong. And he's like, no, 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 it's in our DNA. You know, it's absolutely stupid to blame your DNA. Everybody, if you create the atmosphere within your body, an acidic atmosphere, of course you're going to get sick. Everybody it's the possibility, has that possibility of getting cancer, getting tumors, or whatever that is, if you create the atmosphere for it. So it's absolutely ignorant to blame somebody because they don't want to take responsibility into their own hands. It's easier to blame your DNA. It's easier to blame God. It's easier to blame the devil. It's easier to blame everything else because you don't want to accept the fact that it's your fault. People aren't accountable for their actions. They want to be unaware. They don't have inner strength or that will to do the things that they need to do to be healthy in life. And you need to know what this reality is. This is the reason why we call it the third dimension, because we have to name it so we can explain it. So this third dimension of life is it's a lower dimension of life, and people are going to church worshiping something and they don't even know what it is. It's You're being deceived, you're being tempted and distracted, and that's true because you have this veil of ignorance. They want you to worship something. You're going out of there based on fear. God is not fear. God wants you to be free. He wants you to know who you are, and that is the truth. Only what you call the devil, the darkness, wants to be worshipped. It wants you to fear him. It wants you to look for him for all things that you want. And people don't really see that. You know, they don't, and when you tell them that the body is the temple, that you can agree with, they can agree with you. But they don't, since it's the temple, then how come you're not taking care of it? How come you don't know how to use it to experience what you are on the inside, to experience God? Because this is the vessel and this is the light of the body. And if your eye is single, then your whole body will be full of light. But a lot of people are just full of this darkness and ignorance, and this because of their beliefs. And you go and you read the Bible and then you try to tell other people about it like Jesus is the only way. Is it for real? The only way? Think about that. Think about that. It's a form of worship. God don't want to be worshipped. Why would he need that? Or why would that energy of God need to be worshipped? It don't make any sense whatsoever. The last place humanity would look for God would be inside of his or her own self. They're looking always outside to satisfy something that can only be done from within. And that's what a true cleansing is, like a rebirth is a purging out of your system from within. It's not a dunk in the tank and get rinsed off with water on the outside. It's actually what takes place on the inside. So as you can see through our indoctrination and our programming from our parents and from the tell lies through your vision, and the radios, the music that we listen to, all that programs your subconscious. See, your conscious mind is not conscious of that. But when you start to know who you are, you start to know that your brain is a computer and that it can be programmed. Now you start to become aware of this, and you can't allow people to program you, because you start to realize that everything that they tell you is their belief and how they view the world, not yours. Who is the preacher to tell you what God is? That's only his belief and his indoctrination. Anybody who goes to school to learn about, the Bible or God or ministry is indoctrinated. And it's true. They tell them how it is, and they believe it so true that they tell other people, no, Jesus is the only way, or you're going to go to hell, you're a sinner. You see, God, if you understood life, then you will know that there's a balance. There's a light and a dark, but it's not separate. It works together as one. You see, how does God know what it is if it's not going through the experience? It's trying to figure itself out. It's trying to know what love is. In order to know what things are, you need to have an opposite. In order to know love, You must know hate. You have to go through it. You see, like in my life, the reason why I know these things is because I went through everything possible. I used to drink. I was an unhappy person. I was unhappy with myself. I was unhappy with the way I was treating my wife. I was unhappy with the way I was treating myself. I had no relationship with me. All drinking all the time and drugs, and I was very unhappy. Now I wasn't a dick. I was a pretty decent guy, but a lot of spider webs and skeletons in the closet. That people hide all the time, different faces for different places. I wasn't the true self. I wasn't me. So I was hiding all that through drinking, my depression and all that. You hide that through the drugs, and a lot of times we are real good at hiding it, but until you become aware, now people can't hide it from me because I'm aware because I've been through it. Me and my wife argue. I wasn't a good father figure. I was more manipulative and controlling than I was a good role model. So it took a lot of going through that to know what it is to be a good father. It took a lot of hate for me to know what love is. It took a conditional love for me to enter and understand what unconditional love is. So you see, there's a balance here, and we have to go through these things in life so we can come into the awareness about it and bring it to the surface, and then we can release it. So it takes someone who goes through things. The experience matters, because if that preacher never went through an experience, then how in the hell can he tell you what is true about God? You see, you like to worship things because, like I told you, you're living out of fear. That's fear-based. You want to worship something because you're just scared of going to hell. And that sucks, because most of the people who are go to church who are unhealthy, and even though you think you're slim and you go to the gym and you exercise, that's still unhealthiness if you're eating meats and alcohols, because those things are acidic to the body. And everybody trying to work out this but forget about their own mind, and they have emotional health issues, and everybody's all big like this and stiff and don't realize that your body's acidic. And even though you think you go to the gym and you work out, you can still end up getting sick as well, because you don't have mind-body connection, and you're not eating live electric foods. You don't know that your body is supposed to be alkaline because you are a computer. A computer is supposed to be an operating system, and it's supposed to function properly if you're putting in the right foods, because the plants take the energy from the sun. We eat the plants, and now our bodies break down that plant material, and now we ingest that energy from the sun, and we get all our vitamins and our minerals and our nutrients from that. And that veil of ignorance, don't ever forget it. It's important to know that. Don't let people tell you what civilized is. Don't let people tell you what a man's supposed to be. Don't let somebody tell you how to live life. You should be able to live life the way you want to. You're free. You can be free. And the only way to know what freedom is to have to go through a type of slavery. So don't look outside of yourself and blame anything, because the world is you and you are the world. You see, our strength and our power is to be able to walk through a world that's not made for us and still be happy. If you can find happiness inside of yourself, no matter what's going on outside of you, that is strength. That is love. And if you can still be there for people, because you have to forgive them, for they do not know what they do. So how can you be upset at people if they don't even know any better? It's like yelling at a kid because he don't know any better. He don't know. So how can you get mad at anybody? They are unaware, which is called ignorance, due to the programmings of the mind, of the subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind has all your habits. Just like if you get up in the morning and you watch TV first thing, or you grab your phone, that is a habit created in your subconscious mind. So every morning you get up, your first thing you want to do is grab your phone, grab coffee, grab your phone, grab coffee. You see, I noticed that because when I used to wake up, it was wake up, grab the coffee, smoke my cigarette, go to work every day like clockwork. But as soon as I quit my job, I had to find this new thing that was going on. I had to reprogram my mind because I was so used to doing the same thing over and over again. So I wanted to start doing yoga, meditation. I wanted to start exercising. So every day for 2 months, I started to do that. Get up, right on time like clockwork. And then I reprogrammed my mind. I erased the old habit and put something new in there. So I'm aware that I can program myself to make things easier for me in life. I know that I am aware of what's going on in life, so I don't allow things to get to me. I don't see myself as anything, but also as everything. But I'm not attached to any label because I don't see myself as Mexican. I don't see myself as spiritual or religious, because if you think you're religious, then everybody who don't do that religious stuff that you do, you have conflict with them because you say, "Oh, I'm gonna pray for him." What are you praying for? Do you think you're better than him? That's what prayer is, if you really think about it. Now, if I see people partying, and I know what happens when people party, I'm not gonna pray for them because they're partying, because they're just going through their experience. I'm gonna pray for them and send them good energy so they can get home safe. See, there's a big difference in that. So you can get home safe. Not to pray for you because I think I'm better than you and, oh, God needs to protect you because you doing bad things. So you see, this is why I don't like to label myself. I'm just an observer of life now. I'm like a bird in a tree. When it's time for me to get up and fly, I'm gonna go take a walk, take a ride on my bike. I get to enjoy my life now. And here you need to know that that church that you're going to and that worship that you're doing, you're actually worshiping that same thing that they're trying to tell you to hate, because they cause hate in that church. They tell you to hate the devil, rebuke the devil, but the thing is you don't even first you need to understand what that is. That's also a part of you, and that's how you learn. We also have these lower level energies. Well, not lower level, but all these things operate together as one, and that's what you got to get in tune with. If you have anger and all that, that means you're just operating from your lower part of your chakra. So if you want to get to heaven, of course you got to do the inner work. You got to do the purging, you got to do the cleansing, you got to get this body and mind right through yoga and meditation, and then you can ascend to heaven, which is a higher state of consciousness, a higher state of awareness. You see, we suppress things most of our lives. A lot of the time, we always suppress things inside. And over time, we forget about them. But these things, our bodies hold memories. It never forgets. You just think you do. Your conscious mind thinks it forgets, but it's always there. So what happens during yoga and meditation is these things come up to the surface. They come back up. That's why a lot of people don't like to go in, because they don't want to relive those moments. But it's reliving those moments that brings you into that awareness of what you need to change. So that's what I started to do. The more I went in, yes, it's hard to go in and sit with it. It's hard to go in and know that you treated your wife wrong. So all those things that happened that I did, that manipulation, the drinking, and the way I wasn't a good role model, came up to the surface, and I felt it so bad that I changed my whole life. I I bawled out crying, because this is a release of energy. This is purging. This is ancient teachings of how to baptize yourself, how to be reborn into the light, true light, because true life is the acceptance of all. True light is knowing that you know who you are. You know that you are the energy of God, and people can look at it anyway. You see, they fear saying, "Oh, I'm God," because they don't know who it is. They think it's just some big person because they're a person. But actually, God is the energy in all things. It is me, it is you, it is this table, it is the microphone, it is the phone, it is the intelligence behind everything. We are just unaware of it. So, this is why it's important not to put your beliefs on anybody, because you've been told what to believe. And I'm not giving you beliefs, I'm giving you some examples from my experience of how I see things, my perception. And I don't want you to believe me, because actually you have to go inside and you have to do this yourself so you can feel it like the way I felt it, because I want you to feel all that love that I was able to experience and that I'm still experiencing, because this is never ending. You see, here, you can get what you want. You can get rich fast, but you know what you have to do. You have to give yourself to that darkness, and you can get the money like that. But if you give yourself to the light before you get everything, this is what most people don't want to do. They don't want to strip themselves down of everything. They don't want to let go of everything. You see, and I know this because I'm speaking from experience. I had to strip myself down of everything. I had to sit with every emotion, every thought, everything that I was going through had to become a lesson for me. I had to practice awareness, practice mindfulness. I had to break away from the programmings of my own mind when I look at women lustfully. I had to change my vibration. Now I have an alpha vibration because I'm balanced. Hemisphere right, hemisphere left, both balanced, in tune with itself. The body's functioning properly the way it's, and it's healing still. I'm still going through my healing process because I've drank for a long time. I smoked cigarettes for a long time. But the body heals itself over time if you're providing it and you're giving it the right atmosphere for light and for love to arise inside of you, because life happens from within, never outside of you. You have to have that awareness that you can't be controlled. Don't let other people control you, because when you react to what's going on, they have your power. When you look at another woman, she has your power. Don't allow people to take your power. Your attention is everything. That's why yoga meditation is everything. It's not spiritual for me. People might see me doing it outside in my grass, in my yard, grounding, doing yoga, meditation, and they might say, "Oh, you're spiritual," because a lot of people came to me and they're like, "Oh, I see you're spiritual." Nah, I'm intelligent because I know the mind and body, and I know yoga and meditation, it brings happiness. It makes things flow. This cosmic energy that lies within me gets to rise, and I get to experience different dimensions of life. I get to open up my mind and use it and transcend the mind as well, so it don't use me. And people don't realize, like in the Bible, the serpent is not evil. The serpent is what lies at the bottom of your spine. And if you see on the ambulance truck, you see that staff right there with the little dot is your pineal, and then you have the serpent wrapped around it. You see in that story of Adam and Eve, you see the serpent is the light, and it wanted them to eat the forbidden fruit, which was in the Garden of Eden, which is here on this low level dimension. You see, the forbidden fruit is the mushroom, because the mushroom brings you into awareness of good and evil. And that's what happened to Adam and Eve. They became aware of good and evil, and of course the devil didn't want that, so he cast them out of the garden. And a lot of people won't believe it, but I just know these things because, like I said, the truth is in your face. You have a veil of ignorance, which is just your belief and your unawareness, because you don't allow yourself to see it, because you can't. You can't see things you never experienced. You see, you read a book and you think you know everything about God. You know how stupid that is. You know how big God is. God is everywhere, is everything, everyone, all at the same time, happening every moment. So how can you read one book and think you know everything? That's absolutely ignorant and stupid at the same time. It's just stupid. And for people to believe somebody else, to tell them what God is rather than them go inside themselves and start experiencing it for themselves, is absolutely ignorant. You shouldn't let people manipulate you. So us as humanity, we need to stop letting people do that, so we can start creating the reality that we want to. Take your power back. You know, when you go out there and you buy beer, you know, you only satisfying yourself. But you don't realize that you're buying beer in the community, so they're going to keep supplying you and that store and the community, so you're participating in these things. You see? That's what you call sinning. You are participating in this evil works. You're going to strip clubs, throwing money at girls, which is ignorance, because now girls think all they got to do is shake their ass, and so they don't do nothing with their lives. And that's ignorance, because it's not right for a girl, for something so divine, to be showing off herself like that. And that's all creates nothing but lust. You see, that's a sin too. And that's why we need to be healthy. We don't need men out there who are manipulators, who are drunks, who are druggies, who are emotional, who are egotistical. We need alpha males, males who are healthy, who are in tune with their emotions, who are balanced with their masculine and their feminine. Because how can you flow with the female or get along with the female if you're not in tune with your own feminine? You don't realize that we're both. You have a masculine body, yes you are, but our energies are both. That's the only way we can exist. And you have a right and you have a left hemisphere, and we need to connect with those. You need to connect with that feminine self. So then now you can be in tune with your woman, because your woman can't get in tune with you because you're so egotistical. You think you're so masculine and that's all you are. And that's why women need to have girls' night out so they can talk with their friends, because you don't provide them with that type of energy that they need. So they don't need no one else. But you don't know that. And it's okay. That's why I'm here to bring you into awareness. And I'm just a friend. That's it. I don't think much of myself. I'm just here to speak. You know, it's crazy to know that, when you wake up from this illusion, like I remember past lives, and I remember that this is what I do. I'm born every era, every time there's a shift in energies, because that's all it is. It's a shift in energies, and when these energies shift, I come into this place and go through what I need to go through, so I can come into awareness, start to teach people how to pull themselves out, and it's a beautiful thing. And it's weird too, because I sit here sometimes when I'm outside and it's like, wow, this is weird. But I'm so calm on the inside, even though I know that there's foods that will hurt me, and even though I know there shouldn't be, because life is beautiful. But also too, the only way to know that life is beautiful and to want and to actually appreciate it is to go through something like this. A lot of people think they want to be in love all the time. But then, like I told you, it loses value when you're here all the time. You lose gratefulness. You stop being grateful for it. This is why people go through their ups and downs. And it's true. If you were waking up every day in pure love, pure love, pure love, you won't be grateful for it anymore. So we have to learn the lessons of life. So when you're going through your cloudy days, you can appreciate those sunny days a lot more than you would be able to if you were in a sunny day every day. Think about it. If you were in a sunny day every day, you wouldn't be able to appreciate it as much, because you haven't went through your cloudy days. So you have to go through your cloudy days to get a true appreciation for the light. Just like a seed, when it gets planted in the ground, it's in the darkness. It's in a shell. So you have to water and you have to nurture that shell. And then one day, that life that's inside of that little seedling comes out. And it sprouts. And still it's in that darkness. But it's starting to remember. So it's climbing its way. Because it can feel this light. It can feel where it's coming from. And once it reaches that light and it sees it, it's like, I remember. And it grows right towards it, non-stop. It's just about non-stop growth. You keep growing and you keep growing and you keep growing. And it's a beautiful thing. So I thought I'd bring you into awareness about the veil of ignorance. And don't let yourself be deceived. Don't be tempted. Be true to yourself. Build a relationship with you. Ask yourself questions. When people are making emotions arise inside of you, tell yourself, do I want to feel like this? What do you prefer to be? Do you prefer to be happy, or do you prefer to be miserable? Because there's those two types of people here. Happy and miserable people. And those who are in misery want you to be in misery with them. So don't let somebody tell you that Jesus is the only way, because they're trying to put their fear onto you. You see, most people project how they're feeling on the inside onto you. Their reality, how they're experiencing life, is all because of how their inner world is. So you can't change out there until you start to go inside and change yourself. You have to build that relationship with yourself. You ask yourself, do you like waking up in the morning with a hangover, eating hamburgers, feeling this arthritis? Because you're only getting older. You're not supposed to get older. We're supposed to get better, more wiser, more aware. We're not supposed to intentionally impair ourselves with drugs and alcohol. That's ignorance. And what are we passing on to the youth? Because isn't it about the youth? Everybody loves the kids, right? But don't do shit for them. You ain't doing nothing for them. You don't teach them how to handle their own emotions. You're teaching them how to drink, how to go to work, come home, drink. Go to work, come home, drink. You're taking them to strip clubs as soon as they graduate, giving them beer and alcohol like, welcome to life. Like, no, man. What the hell are we doing as parents, for real? Why are you letting other people indoctrinate your kids, teaching them? It's all because you keep working and working. Oh, and I hear a lot of people say, oh, it's hard to do that when you work 60 hours a week. Well, it's your fault you working 60 hours a week. Your life is expensive. You're supposed to work to live well, not to buy a whole bunch of material shit so you can be a slave to it forever. Become in debt. You see how ignorant that is? All because you want things to surround yourself with so you can feel big. Because you small on the inside. But if you knew who you are, and you knew you were the energy of God and it lives inside of you, then guess what? You feel mighty and strong, but not in an ignorant way or a self-centered way. It frees you. The more awareness that you get brought into about the things that you are doing to make you unhappy, the ignorance that you're providing to your friends and to your family and to your community and to the world itself, when you realize that you are participating in ignorant activities like Christmas and Valentine's Day, and they make people feel a certain way. Think about it. Valentine's Day make people feel a certain way if you don't get a gift. It makes people feel alone. Christmas makes people feel alone if they don't have family with them or they don't have money to buy gifts and shit. You see how stupid that is? And if you know, people are talking about, oh, I love America, and they don't want other people coming in here. Who in the fuck are you to say that people can't come in here and live here for free? People should be able to travel and settle wherever they feel. You know, who are we to say anything to anybody? You know, you think you know everything, and this is true. You think you know everything, and you want other people to be like you, to think like you, but not everybody's going to think like you. Not everybody's going to think like me or the next man. But what we can do as a society is accept one another as we are, because we are all God. It is not written in your law, but I said, ye are all gods. That is the truth. If you don't want to accept your divinity, then that's on you. I'm here to bring you into awareness about it. You see, because if you don't accept it, that means you're just living in fear. You're in fear of going to hell. You're already in it. You're already in it. Emotional. You see, healthy cleanliness is next to godliness, which means you clean up from the inside. You clean up your health, and you start taking responsibility back into your hands. Health is your responsibility. It's nobody else's responsibility to take care of you. You know, when you walk into a room, you're supposed to light that motherfucker up. You're supposed to bring good vibrations to everybody you meet. If you're married, you're not supposed to send pornographic pictures to your friends. That's ignorant. And that's so wrong of you to disrespect your wife like that. You see, we want to lust over everybody, but we don't want people to look at our wife or our daughters like that. But you do it. You see, this is why I had to stop. You see, I got brought into awareness of all of this. And it's because of that awareness, I was able to transform my life, because it's important to get brought into awareness. Awareness is the greatest gift you can ever receive. You see, the devil wants you to worship it. He said he gonna take care of you. He said he gonna give you a new body. You see, but the light makes you do the work, because then you get to see for yourself the growth and the potential that you can be, and that how much light you can provide for a world full of darkness. How much power is in there. But that power is not conceited power. It's a power of love, of true love, unconditional. That love where I can look at a murderer and not feel one thing about him because he don't know any better. Because we as a society has turned a blind eye to everything that's going on, from child trafficking to drunkenness. It makes it so normal. Everybody's overweight and unhealthy. So these things seem normal, but they're not. They're not normal. We shouldn't turn a blind eye anymore. It's time for us to sober up, clean up. It's time to clean up our act. We need some real men out there, for real, to guide humanity into the place it needs to go to. Woman president, number one. I want that. Because she will bring balance to this world. You don't know how powerful the divine feminine is. The feminine is everything. We're supposed to pave the way for them, not suppress them. So you can see what we're coming into. That Christ said he was coming for all his children. But it's the consciousness, the energy, the people who are awakening, trying to teach you. You see, God already built you a church. Go in it. Don't go to the church that was built by the hands of a man. Go to the one who was built by spirit, by that energy of love, pure divineness. And you are divine. You are divine. And you need to know that. And I don't blame anybody for anything they do. I don't judge you because still you are divine. And I know and I'm aware how life operates here. I'm very aware of that. So I hope that helps you. And please like and subscribe and tell your friends about this. You know, I'm not trying to, like I said, give you beliefs. I want to help people free themselves because there's so much freedom when you start releasing yourself of all these labels. When you say, oh, I'm not spiritual no more, you're just attached to that. You want to grab onto something because that makes you feel good. But how about you just grab onto what's inside of you naturally? Because when you go out into nature, it's not spiritual. I tell you what it is. It's mystical. It's a mystical, psychedelic energy. That's what it is. And nature is home, baby. The mushroom is home. The mushrooms are healing medicines, and they will bring you into awareness of everything. Because it is the fruiting body of the mycelium, which is the ultimate connection that connects all of nature and allows nature to speak. Beautiful. So, many blessings to you. I love you. Have a good one.